This is how he got his education. Thank God I followed the session, the excellent session on education. And we saw the talents we have. We don't actually miss anything or need anything to really develop. Depends on us. Depends on us to work. This picture was taken during the First World War. And my grandfather on the right, my great-grandfather in the middle, and his other son who was a diver for pearls. So the one in the middle has got his trade with India. The one on the left, which is the diver, his pearls were sold in India. And the younger one who is on the right, finished his education, primary education and secondary education in Kuwait, and came for higher education in India. So India was sought after as a higher education place. Now here I have actually in foreign policy, we either talk about, what I'm talking about is, more comprehensive security that is comprehensive, that means different dimensions, economic, political, as well as, military, not just military. And the lecture is long, and I will confine myself to just few remarks and show you a clip. India and the Arabs, as well as many Muslim and non-Muslim communities, manned something called the Silk Road, Tariq al-Harir. Started from Muslim communities in Western China. And it actually expanded from the eastern part of Japan, going underwater to China, from China. These communities actually worked and trade and crossed 6,400 kilometers. Today there are many countries, notably in this process, many countries pursue the resurrection of the Silk Road. Kuwait is in the vanguard of that, and I'll show you what we are going to do. If you look up, you see that India's participation mainly was on the maritime route, and that is what tied communities in the Gulf, today called the GCC, Kuwait in the past, as well as Oman, being the two nations that had deep water ships tied to India. Oman also to Africa. But our prime trade was with India, and then if you take the holy places, all the holy places were centers of trade, Mecca and Medina, and again, we're linked to the seafront, we're linked to Salalah and the Arabian Sea. From Arabian Sea, there was a caravan coming from the holy places to Salalah, and from Salalah to the Arabian Sea, straight to Africa and India. Our trade came from, coming from Baghdad down to Shatt al-Arab, or from Qom and Tabriz and Asfahan, and from Damascus. We carried caravans as Kuwaitis, 1,000 camel-strong caravans. They would come, and so our link to the Silk Road was through Damascus and through Baghdad. What we want today is, instead of a climate of war, in which, the GCC, Iran and Iraq and Yemen are involved in, we ought to resurrect the old trade route in order for us to create a zone of peace. How? If you look at this map, you see in the smaller box, you see there is China, there is India, there is Arabia, there is Persia, it's Mesopotamia. And here we want to relink these once again. If you look at this division today, India looks actually has a policy that says, look west. Meaning we are in the west and they want to concentrate. India is to concentrate more on the east, being the area of competition with rising China. Today, the need for India is very obvious. India needs to go back to its maritime strength and really man security and trade and cooperate with others, not only in fighting piracy, but in safeguarding all trade routes as well as oil routes. It is very interesting that this state of cooperation we realize because the Americans cannot cover it today. So they need everybody else to cooperate. Our relations with India, you know, labor. Today, Indian labor is 6.5. It sends to India, the bulk, India sends more remittances than any other nation, I mean Indian expatriates, to their homeland. The one in the Gulf sent actually 45% of what the Indian expatriate community in the world, which means 35, almost 35 out of 70 to 75 billions a year. When you talk about oil, you all know, here is the latest figure from the month of November 2011, and they went up. And if you talk about, what I want to talk about is this, which is the new economic opportunities in the Gulf that create not only jobs for Indian, but also for Indian businesses. And they are flourishing in areas like they are very obvious in the United Arab Emirates, but also in Kuwait and other parts of the Gulf. Now the project that I'm going to show will require the energies not only of India, but of China and of the rest of the world, as well as our energies. Here I worked on this project, you will see, maybe you like, maybe you don't, but this is from 1998. And imagine from 1998, we've been waiting for the golden opportunity to really start. What we have when we say economic opportunities in the Gulf, we have, you know, the Gulf as a hub for trade, as a hub for new businesses, as a financial center. We will be the most important financial center in the year 2025, in 12 years' time. Yesterday, last week, the current account of Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates, two nations quite advanced in financing education, surpassed that of China. So we don't actually, there are, you know, our needs are covered. As I said, we just need to start. We have the energies, we have the people who think ahead, we have the youth, the majority of our populations are youth, not only the Muslim, but almost every other nation here in this area, and therefore we ought just to start. I would like, if you look at where we came with our vision starts from this area. Here, if you look at Kuwait sits between Iraq, Iran, and Saudi Arabia, three great powers in the Gulf, and the history is continuous from, from very old times. The struggle is between, communities called Persia, Mesopotamia, and Arabia. Here you see that Kuwait also has got direct maritime borders with Iran. So Kuwait is in the middle between three nations. It has to balance that. Behind Saudi Arabia, which is our backbone, Amud al-Fatari, you have the GCC, the whole GCC. And what we want to do, basically, when they say we want to resurrect trade and we want to participation with India in that, not only on the economic level, but also on economic, meaning investment and labor and Indian businesses, but also India being a guarantor of peace and security in the Indian Ocean leading to the Arabian Sea leading to the Gulf. Because if you look at this map, you see how entangled the oil pipelines. Everybody wants these oil pipelines. Everybody kind of stake its stake on a larger level or larger degree of this. Here is what we are trying to do. If you look at, you see the mouse, this is Kuwait. So this is the existing Kuwait. This is a bridge, leads to what we call here the new Kuwait. It is the fact is very simple. Instead of large powers trying to defend themselves, trying to defend their economic prosperity, and then engage in war, why not get them connected together through a terminal called the New Kuwait, or the Silk City, and instead of them crushing us when they quarrel, especially us, meaning not just Kuwait, but the GCC, no, they will cooperate with us, and the zone will be open. You see the majority of the area, majority of the people who will benefit from this zone going to be Muslims, going to be Iranians, going to be Iraqis, going to be us, the Arabs of Arabia, not the GCC but Yemen. And then it is going to be an international city. I would like to tell you that the first step we will see next month. Next month, you'll see how serious we are. Because next month we will have the opening of a new railway bridge. But we say, where are the railways in Kuwait? That's exactly what we are saying. We are surrounded by 3 nations. They all have railways, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and Iran, and we do not connect them. We ought to connect them. Okay? You see the value. It's very simple. Instead of us being, the zone where they crush each other, we're going to become a very simple idea, isn't it? This was because of travel with Iraq, because of the war between Kuwait and Iraq. Here, this is the tower. We are not competing with any tower in the world being the tallest forever, but it has to come from our tradition, Muslim traditions, and the silk is, it comes from the Silk Road. Tower. It will harbor like 4 districts similar to the districts of Kuwait. Okay, so on all levels. And this is going to be a city of 760,000 of all nationalities, and it will create 430,000 jobs. By Islamic architecture, with the shapes. These are shapes of cities, like the city of sports, city of environmental city, city of media, financial city, all geometrically connected. I believe there is an Indian saying that when 2 elephants quarrel, the grass that suffers. So we have 3 elephants around us. So instead of them quarreling, we believe that when elephants are in harmony, they put head to head. So when 3 elephants put head to head, they create a space in which we, the mouse, can live in the middle. Thank you very much.